Good morning, everybody. My name is Corporal Maya LeBron, and today we will be going over an informative brief in regards to the 7 Army values. So a quick little safety brief. The conditions is that we're in an indoor environment. We're in a tent on the flight line. There is ample lighting, air conditioning, and there is a medic on site. There's a flight line aid station no more than 50 feet from here with medevac capabilities. Water is also provided on site, and the overall risk assessment is low. But although we are inside of a tent, still be wary of harsh weather conditions that could pose threat, like heavy wind, heavy rain, or flooding. Watch out for slips, trips, and falls. In case of an active shooter, evade, engage, and escape. And make sure everybody is drinking water. But when you're finished drinking your water, make sure you throw that water bottle in the recycling bin, because we are going to reduce, reuse, and recycle. So we're saving the turtles here. Alrighty, so on the agenda today, we have our introduction, we have the history of the Army values, and then we're going to go over the 7 Army values and their importance and application in our Army, a summary, and then a conclusion. Alrighty, so an introduction. What are the Army values? The Army values are a specific set of characteristics that are essential to the Army. These values are installed into all soldiers with an expectation to live them every day in everything that we do, on and off duty. These values are loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, personal courage. Soldiers learn these values in every detail of basic combat training. From day one, they are expected to live them every day in everything that they do, whether they're on the job or not. The Army has always had values, dating back to 1778 with Baron von Steuben at Valley Forge, where he established attributes and traits that the NCO should have. And these values apply to every soldier that wears the uniform, whether in E1 through O10, active duty, National Guard, or reservist. Alright, so history on the Army values. So the Vietnam War created a lot of turmoil in the U.S. between the government, military, and civilians. The war led to the replacement of the draft to an all-volunteer force, weakened the military's morale and commitment to internationalism, and also led to a large increase of mistrust and questioning of the authority in the public. The U.S. military was a powerhouse of the world, leaving World War II, but Vietnam ruined that image. The push to revitalize and reconstruct the Army was essential to the force's ability to overcome the considerable setback. So post-Vietnam War brought a lot of creeds that addressed the roles and expectations of officers and non-commissioned officers in our ranks. And the placement of these ethics and values in Army doctrine was necessary to shape Army professionalism in a collective identity. The formal development of the Army values began in about 1981 and was repeatedly examined and adjusted. And over time, the Army values have been reviewed and reconsidered and are still evolving to this day. The first field manual, or FM, was established in 1978 to address professionalism and doctrine. And in 1981 was the first enduring Army values. The first Army values included loyalty to the institution, loyalty to the unit, personal responsibility, and selfless service. But in 1999 began the framework to the 7 core Army values that are still being implemented in basic combat training to this day. Alrighty, so the first Army value is loyalty. And loyalty is bearing the true faith and allegiance. Bearing true faith and allegiance is a matter of believing in and devoting yourself to something or someone. A loyal soldier is one who supports the leadership and stands up for fellow soldiers. By wearing the uniform of a U.S. Army soldier, you are expressing your loyalty. And by doing your part, you are expressing your loyalty to your unit. What we have learned and relearned in our Army is that unit cohesion and teamwork is what gives individual soldiers the confidence to use initiative, to be resourceful, and be all that they can be. Duty. Duty is doing your part. Duty is fulfilling your obligations. Doing your duty means more than means more than just carrying out your task. Duty means being able to accomplish tasks as part of the team. Think about what it means to be a sergeant. It boils down to really two things. You have to train your soldiers and you have to lead your soldiers. But what does it mean, or what is it that makes soldiers into leaders? One key element that must exist for NCOs to become outstanding leaders is that NCOs need to understand what their responsibilities are. You must look into the mirror and figure out how to fix your part of the Army. Experience isn't what happens to you. Experience is what you do. Is what you do with what happens to you. Respect. Treat people the way that they should be treated. In the Soldiers Code, we pledge to treat others with dignity and respect while expecting others to do the same. Respect is trusting all that people have done, that have done their jobs and fulfilled their duty. And self-respect is a vital ingredient with the Army value of respect. It means knowing you have put forth your best effort. The Army is one team, and each one of us has to contribute something. Soldiers want to know 3 things from their NCOs. They want to know if we are concerned about them. They want to know if we're more concerned about the chain of command and promotion for ourselves, or if an NCO's focus is down the chain towards where our subordinates are. Soldiers want to know if we can trust, if they can trust us, and if they can, if we do what is right and what is legal at all times. Soldiers want to be the best they can be, so we must show a commitment of excellence. Selfless service. Put the welfare of the nation, the Army, and subordinates before your own. Selfless service is larger than just one person. In serving a country, you are doing your duty loyally without thought of recognition or gain. The basic building blocks of selfless service is the commitment of each team member to go a little further, endure a little longer, and look a little closer to see how he or she can add to the effort. The American soldier is among the greatest asset this country has to offer. Generations of Americans will be able to enjoy the freedom of American soldiers, that American soldiers have defended and preserved in war after war. And whether or not war is popular among the nation's people, that has no bearing on what the soldiers do or think. They perform their duties bravely, and they perform their duties bravely and without any hesitation. They don't make policies and they don't declare war, but they do fight and they bleed and they die, and they do it without hesitation. And that should be appreciated and recognized. Without regard for the political aspects of war in our country, when you think of freedom in this country, you should think of the sacrifice the soldiers have made to keep this country free. Honor. Live up to the Army values. The nation's highest military award is the Medal of Honor. This award goes to soldiers who make honor a matter of daily living. Soldiers who develop the habit of being honorable and solidify that habit in every core value every core choice that they make. Value is a matter of carrying out and acting and living every single Army value. Integrity is doing what's right legally and morally, and as long as you do what you're supposed to do, you're going to be okay. If soldiers do the right thing every day, it is because it is the right thing to do, and treat others with dignity and respect, we will succeed as soldiers, and the Army will succeed as a whole. And personal courage. Soldiers can build personal courage by standing up daily for standing up daily for and acting upon notions that they think is honorable. The concept of personal courage does not always mean being tough as nails. Either suggests willingness to listen to soldiers' problems and to go to bat for them in tough situations. It also means being able to tell the boss that he or she is wrong. All right, so in summary, today we talked about the history of the Army values, the 7 Army values, their meaning, an example of each in importance. And in conclusion, soldiers are the guardians of freedom and liberty, and sacred values and trusts of the American people and our nation. Values are what built this country, and values are what keeps this country going. And it's all about surviving in this world, and it's all about keeping this nation free. Do I have any questions? Thank you so much for your time.